What's happening here?
Tommy lied to all of us.
You had a lot of nerve to request a meeting with me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Tommy needs a new partner.
Tommy's just one guy.
This gonna be a war like we never seen before.
I will burn that coalition to the ground before I let them take it from me.
It's just business, bitch.
Yeah, I'm really him. I'm really him.
What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Mr. Power, and I'm back with another video. And man, I just watched episode 8 of Power Book 4 Force season 3, and this was absolutely crazy. I told you guys this episode was going to be another one of them ones, and there was so much going on. From the jump, you seen Tommy trying to rebuild back his organization. You see all of these things that are going on around him. Jennard, Diamond, everyone plotting, making moves, and him creating this alliance with Shanti to essentially keep his business going and kind of try to get members back from the faction and the coalition to join him. And he was dealing with so much, and to see things kind of crumble at the end of the episode when he was finally starting to kind of build back better, like the title of the episode was heartbreaking, man. And Jennard fucked up. You know, if there was any chance of his character surviving or any thought of him possibly surviving, it's over. It's clear the route that they've taken with Jennard's character. He killed Tommy's brother, and I didn't really expect him to kill King Kilo and the other guy too. Like, I'm not surprised that King Kilo got dropped off, because once Jennard killed JP and King Kilo was like, yeah, he's still out the coalition and they're still done with him. I'm like, so what did I do all of this for? Like, why do we need you now? I'm gonna just kill you too. And Jennard caught 3 bodies in the span of 5 minutes. And shout out to Chris Lofton, man. He's been amazing in this role the whole show, and especially this season he's turned it up a notch. I think he's been the MVP for this season, and I'm shocked at him catching all of those bodies, and Diamond doesn't even know. That's the crazy part. And this goes back to what I said, guys, previously with this show, is that Diamond and Jennard are compromised because one of them is drinking, and obviously Jennard is back on that shit. And you could tell just from the beginning of the episode, the way he was moving, the way that he kind of like let JP just beat him up like that. Like, he seemed like he was just completely out of it. Once he did that, I was like, yeah, JP's gonna die. And I'm like, JP, you know these people are drug dealers and murderers and they're in the streets. Why the fuck would you approach him and put your hands on him like that? Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to say JP's character deserved it, but it's like, what did you think was going to happen? You thought you was going to put hands on someone like that and then he was just not going to retaliate? So it sucked. It sucked. But JP went out like a G, though. He didn't give up his family. He didn't give up D-Mac's location. He didn't give up nothing. You know, he stood on business, and he smooth told Jennard, like, yo, if you're going to do it, like, shoot me then. And Jennard did it, you know, being off them drugs. I will say, I don't think Jennard would be acting like this if it wasn't for the fact that he's on the drugs and he lost Shanti and he's not kind of really thinking straight. Because I think the sober Jennard would be looking at his actions right now thinking, I fucked up. Like, and it's funny because Jennard has been the main dude who's kind of been afraid of Tommy in this show and kind of never wanted to kind of pluck the feathers. Now you just started a whole nother war with Tommy. And you know, guys, Tommy's not going to take much time to grieve this and get revenge. And we know, based off how things went down with Claudia, even if it takes Tommy 2 seasons to get revenge, he's going to make sure it happens. He's going to make sure he gets it done. And man, this was a phenomenal episode. Really good episode. The Maria storyline was crazy, right? The hitter came after her, and I was thinking like she's probably going to catch a body and like shoot him, right? Nah, she got in the car and drove over him, reversed, drove over him again, reversed, drove over him again. And shout out dude who played Titus, the hitter. I'm actually gonna have him on the podcast sometime later next week. Like, I have a bunch of actors from that show. Stacey Marks, too, played by Miriam Hyman. Also gonna have her on too. So stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, and you know, you got Miguel and Shanti. I'm really liking Shanti's character. Like, she's actually starting to grow on me, and you start to see the value that she has, business wise. And she's not like Diamond. Like, she smooth told Tommy, like, I need to meet Che. We need to be partners. You know what I mean? I'm not just about to be taking orders from you like Diamond was. I need to be involved in this business. I need to be involved in this process. The Connect and Che needs to know my face. And Tommy did make it clear, like, yo, I don't think Che's gonna be, happy about us bringing new faces around, particularly a woman, right? So I'm curious to see how Che responds to that, in the next episode, if we do get to see that interaction between Che and Shanti, right? But Shanti Showstopper, I feel like her character is relatively safe, to be honest, as long as she stays close to Tommy and Miguel. And I love the pairing of Tommy and Miguel, you know what I mean? And it's obvious that attempt on Maria's life is what brought them together. They both realized, like, oh, and even Maria said it, like, you guys have interests aligned. You guys have the same enemy in the Marquez cartel. The Marquez cartel came from Maria and the baby, which means they came from Tommy and Miguel, right? So everybody's under the same umbrella. And this all makes so much sense now why you see Kate coming back after not being in the whole season, and her telling Tommy in the trailer, like, make them suffer. She's obviously talking about Jennard, and you see Tommy at the little village place, Miguel's spot. You see the whole family there, and then you see them at everybody at the funeral together. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, and shout out dude who played JP Anthony Fleming, my guy. I'm gonna have him on the podcast actually later tonight. Today is Friday now, so I'm gonna have him on the podcast today, and I should have that out about 8 p.m. and we're gonna chop it up, talk about his death scene, talk about his time as playing JP, the character on the show. So this is gonna be super dope. But we got a lot of great content, y'all. But I'm like, damn, now things are about to get insane. Like, the stakes just got even higher, and Jennard's death is going to be that much more, even more satisfying when it happens. And we know Jennard is going to, we know he's going to keep wilding out. This isn't the end. We know that he's probably going to pull up to their church during the funeral and try to shoot it up and everything like that. There's going to be a whole shootout at the church and everything between Miguel, Tommy, and CBI and whatnot. So there's going to be a lot going on, guys. This season, y'all can't tell me this season hasn't been one of the best seasons out of all the spinoffs. This might be the best Power season of all the spinoffs. This shit has been insane. It's been absolutely pandemonium, and every episode has been better and better. Everyone's performing, everyone's doing their thing, and I just can't get over like how wild Jennard is. I made a video not too long ago reacting to the scene between Shanti and Jennard's breakup, and I captioned it like, yo, Jennard is the wildest character in Power history. Like, he's wild, and when he's off them drugs like he is right now, he don't give a fuck about nothing. He's going to do whatever he feels like he needs to do to get what he wants. And I feel like now we're going to probably see him and Diamond have a little bit of beef too, because Shanti did kind of plant that seed. If you remember that scene with Diamond, she was like, yo, Jennard was planning on killing you and taking over this whole time. And it's almost like Diamond understood, but he didn't want to accept it because he's in denial, and he's obviously been drinking too, and he's compromised, but he understands. He understands who his brother is, and it's why a lot of people are frustrated with Diamond's character, because it's like he's been so smooth and intelligent and cunning throughout the first 2 seasons, and suddenly this season it's like he's lost all of his intelligence and is just being completely manipulated by Jennard. And even some of last season, but more so this season, has been completely manipulated by Jennard, and everything that happened with the coalition and Tommy getting kicked out is ultimately just it's part of Jennard's plan and everything that he did. But now he's in a position where he's so drugged out that he can't even capitalize off the position that he's in. You know what I mean? You got 2 idiots who are off alcohol and drugs running CBI. It's not going to work well. And I just seen the trailer also for episode 9, which I'm going to be breaking down probably Saturday as well. You see Tommy's pulling up on members of CBI and telling them like, yo, pick a side, because we're about to go to fucking war, and our bodies are going to drop, and a lot of people are going to get hurt. So you better stay tuned, because bodies are going to drop, things are going to get even more violent, things are going to get even more pressure filled. And like, I feel like we forget, like, this is the final season. it feels different. Like when you're watching the show in its final season and you see things kind of go down, you know that it's final. Like the endings are the endings. This is what people are going to do moving forward. Ain't no redos or coming back. This is the last season. So I'm curious as to what's going to go down. I'm curious as to like who's going to survive. Will Diamond make it out? Will Jennard make it out? It's hard for me to imagine Jennard surviving after what he just did to JP, and King Kilo's crew might, want to know what happened to him too, and the other guy that King Kilo's with. So Jennard's looking like he's gonna have a lot of people coming at him. Like he's gonna have a lot of people beefing with him. He's gonna have a lot of issues. And like I said, moves like this create issues with Che, because it's like you fucking up the business, you fucking up the money. Like he could have worked King Kilo back into the coalition and everything like that. Now you're just fucking up the bread. And I'm curious to see Diamond's reaction about Jennard catching these bodies and finding out that he killed Tommy's nephew. And I'm pretty sure Diamond's going to tell him, like, you made a huge mistake. Tommy's coming for you. Tommy's coming for us now. And it's going to be insane, guys. And one of the things that I also wanted to say, and I think someone had mentioned it in my last video too, and I think I mentioned it a little bit, these hitters in power are so trash, bro. Like that Marquez hitter, bro, like you literally had a gun on her right there. You could have shot and killed Maria. He was asking for her keys. I'm like, what you need her keys for? You could have just shot her and got that anyway. And then for him to get shot and then rolled over like that, I'm like, you're supposed to be a professional hitter from a cartel, and you let a pregnant woman who is relatively like young and has no experience really in the game take you out like that. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, Power. We gotta do better. We gotta make these hitters a little bit stronger. I mean, Pink Sneakers and the Jamaicans, they would have never gone for this. they wouldn't have gone out that easy, that fast. So I definitely think some of these hitters need to be more intriguing in a sense, right? We can't just have them popping up and just knowing that they're not going to get the job done. At least make it enticing enough to where we think it could go the other way, not just they just get cooked by the plot armor. And is there anything else I'm forgetting? I feel like there was just so much that went on this episode. I do feel like D-Mac is probably the character and probably the storyline that we're going to be most interested to see as things move forward, is how is D-Mac going to react to JP's death. If there was any chance of D-Mac like getting out the game and going to college and going to school, that shit is out the window. And you could already tell like D-Mac this episode was very upset because Marshall was still siding with CBI after everything that CBI was doing, trying to get him killed, fucking with Tommy, trying to get him out the way too. And Marshall was like, nah, I'm done taking risks for you. And I think you kind of see that distance between them now. And obviously Jennard had tried to kill and shoot D-Mac before. Now it's in a situation where Jennard has killed his pops, and he already wanted Jennard. So now it's like, oof, D-Mac about to go fucking crazy. I can't wait to see how D-Mac is going to bounce back. I can't wait to see how D-Mac is going to respond. And I can't wait to see how D-Mac's relationship with Tommy is going to grow. We know Tommy's going to be mentoring him and talking about the lessons that he learned from Ghost, Kanan, and Breeze. So that's going to be super dope to see those interactions. And I think it's almost time, y'all. I think it is almost time to make that call to who. Young Ghost, young Tariq St. Patrick, the apex predator, they said in Power Book 2 Ghost. I think we're waiting on Tariq. I think the call with Tariq is going to happen in episode 9, and I think he's likely going to show up in episode 10 because I don't see him showing up in episode 9 after making the call in episode 9. I feel like now it makes sense because, like I said in my last video, that episode 9 is the false finale and episode 10 is the brand new show. And I think obviously Tariq will be a part of whatever's next. So it makes sense for him to pop up in that next episode. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tariq honestly popped up at the end of episode 9 as well. I just really hope that they make the timelines like kind of make sense at least a little bit, like at least make sure we see Tommy making the call to Tariq, and then like we see Tariq on the other end answering the call. We got to see that. They got to clear up those discrepancies. But overall, man, it was a crazy fucking episode, y'all. Absolutely insane, absolutely bonkers. This was one of them ones. You guys already know I'm going to be breaking stuff down, doing content, daily uploads like I have been the last few weeks, breaking down different storylines, predictions, thoughts, theories. We'll be breaking down the trailer and what I expect for some of these characters going into the final 2 episodes. And as always, appreciate you guys for all the love and support. And always as well, for the people who are new to this video, if you guys haven't followed me on all platforms, you can find me on all social media platforms at Mr. Power Universe. You can join me on the Patreon for more exclusive content, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.